It began like an ordinary day, but little did I know, it was the start of something that would turn my life upside down. I was sitting at my desk, a cup of coffee steaming beside me, flipping through photos from a recent trip. There was a sense of calm, an illusion of control, but it was fleeting. Suddenly, my phone buzzed, and the text on the screen made my heart race. "We need to talk," it read. It was from Sarah. Sarah wasn't just anyone. She was the love of my life. We had been together for 3 years, and she had been my anchor through the storms of life. Her message filled me with unease. My mind raced through possibilities. Was she okay? Had something gone wrong? When we met later that evening, I noticed her face was pale, her eyes darting nervously. She hesitated before saying, "I've been keeping something from you." My chest tightened as I braced myself for her next words. "I'm moving across the country," she finally confessed. My world seemed to tilt. We had talked about a future together, but now it felt like that vision was slipping through my fingers. As I tried to process her words, Sarah explained that her family needed her back home, and the move wasn't optional. Her voice cracked as she said, "I didn't know how to tell you. I didn't want to hurt you. I wanted to be supportive, but anger and sadness surged within me. Why didn't you tell me earlier?" I asked, my voice shaking. She looked away, tears welling up in her eyes. "I was scared," she admitted. That night, I sat alone in my apartment, staring at the photos we had taken together. Memories of shared laughter and dreams played in my mind like a cruel movie. I knew long-distance relationships were possible, but doubts crept in. Could we really make it work? As days turned into weeks, Sarah and I tried to keep our bond alive through calls and messages, but something felt off. The distance between us wasn't just physical, it was emotional. One day, her replies became shorter, her calls less frequent. I felt her slipping away, and no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't hold on. At the same time, my work life was spiraling out of control. A major project I had been leading at the company hit a roadblock. Deadlines loomed, and the pressure was unbearable. My boss's disappointment was evident, and my colleagues' whispers stung. I felt like I was failing at everything, at work, in love, and in life. One fateful afternoon, I got a call from my bank. The voice on the other end informed me that an investment I had poured my savings into had collapsed. "I'm sorry," the representative said, but her words felt hollow. My financial stability was gone in an instant. I slumped into my chair, staring at the ceiling, wondering how everything had unraveled so quickly. Weeks later, Sarah called me, her voice distant. "I think we need to take a break," she said. The words hit me like a punch to the gut. "A break," I repeated, struggling to comprehend. "I just need time to figure things out," she explained. But deep down, I knew what she really meant. The days that followed were some of the darkest of my life. I withdrew from friends and family, ashamed of my failures. My once vibrant apartment now felt cold and empty. Every corner reminded me of Sarah, of what we had lost. The weight of loneliness was crushing, and for the first time, I questioned my purpose. One sleepless night, I found myself scrolling through old messages, desperate for some sense of connection. That's when I stumbled upon a video Sarah and I had made during one of our happiest moments. In it, we were laughing, our eyes bright with love and hope. Watching it hurt, but it also sparked something within me, a reminder of what it felt like to be alive. I realized that waiting for life to fix itself wasn't an option. If I wanted things to change, I had to take action. The next morning, I forced myself out of bed and went for a run, something I hadn't done in months. The fresh air, the rhythmic pounding of my feet against the pavement. It was a small step, but it felt like progress. Determined to rebuild, I reached out to an old mentor, someone who had guided me early in my career. We met for coffee, and I poured my heart out. To my surprise, he listened without judgment and offered me a chance to collaborate on a new project. It wasn't a full-time role, but it was a start. I also began therapy, something I had resisted for years. Talking about my fears and failures with a professional was liberating. Slowly, I started to untangle the web of emotions that had trapped me. As I focused on rebuilding my life, Sarah and I reconnected in a surprising way. She called one evening, her voice trembling. "I miss you," she admitted. My heart raced. But I knew better than to dive back in without addressing the issues that had torn us apart. We talked for hours, laying everything on the table. The pain, the doubts, the love that still lingered. Rebuilding wasn't easy. It took time, patience, and a lot of difficult conversations. But in the process, I discovered strength I didn't know I had. I learned to value myself, to embrace the scars as part of my journey. Today, I stand here not as someone who has it all figured out, but as someone who refuses to give up. Life will throw its punches, but it's how we rise that defines us. And as for Sarah and me, we're taking it one day at a time, with hope lighting the way forward.